Right now, we welcome women's flyweight Miranda Fear the Maverick, and she fights Gillian Savage Robertson at UFC 260 next Saturday, March 27th on pay-per-view. And she defeated Liana Jojua last year by Dr. Stoppage. Former Invicta FC, Rise of Phoenix Series 2 tournament winner, 8-2, and trained at the House of Muay Thai and Norfolk BJJ in Norfolk, Virginia. Shout out to Lamont Chappell from LCA Sports Management for help setting up the interview. And we appreciate you being on the show. So hope everything is well with you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It is.
Talk about having the fight rebooked, from February. Although there was a delay, finally being able to fight Gillian Robertson this month. Is this what you anticipated?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, obviously, I wish it would have happened the first time around. It was pretty annoying, to say the least. And then trying to find a date that was rebookable via me and her, working around my school schedule and everything else, and working around whatever she had going on. It was a pain to get it done, but shout out to Mick Maynard for getting us rematched and rebooked as soon as he could. And only had about another 4 weeks of a fight camp pretty much, and ready to go back in there again. I just feel like 1% better every day. Every time that something gets pushed off, it gives me another chance to improve.
And what is it like for you to give your all to a grueling training camp and then make a weight cut, not get the fight, and not getting paid for it?
Paid partially for it, so okay. I can't that one just because I made weight. So I got some show money, but it was still really, really annoying, especially considering what I could have made that night. And on top of that, cuts aren't an easy thing. They really aren't. Anybody that has easy weight cuts, great for them. But I know that mine is not an easy weight cut. And I know Gillian has a lot easier time cutting weight than I do because she's smaller than me anyway. So it was very annoying for me, very frustrating. And I was honestly mad the first couple of days, but at the same time, we all get sick, stuff happens. And I just hope she comes into this one ready to go.
And are you happy that the fight is on another pay-per-view card? Talk about both your fights been on the pay-per-view. Undercard with ESPN showing the prelims, gives you more exposure and gets gets your following up as well.
Yep, adds to every little bit. That always makes it exciting to be on a pay-per-view card and for me to be on it both times. I feel like things work out as they're supposed to, and I've had 2 fights in the UFC that have now had something go wrong, and 2 fights that went right, hopefully coming up. So I'm excited to make that the case.
When you look at Gillian Robertson, she's had the most stoppage wins in UFC women's flyweight history, and she has the most wins in the division's history as well. Where do you feel a victory over her puts you?
I think my next opponent would be someone in the top 15 at least. That's what people are eyeing me. I have this hype behind me, and I plan on making it a reality. I don't like the whole just talking and not putting action behind it. And that's what I plan on doing when I go in there, is not only beat Robertson, but also make a point of it, beat her dominantly.
And you were in Michigan recently. You're trained at Team SFS. So talk about how that went. Alicia Zapatella is the women's atomweight champion in Invicta FC. I've followed her since she made her pro debut. And you see her in the UFC one day, if they add the women's atomweight division.
Yeah, absolutely. And she may even be moving up. We'll see what happens. But training just ended up fitting the circumstances. I went up to Michigan for a documentary premiere that I was a part of called After the Cage. So it premiered that weekend. And so I went up there with my family, got to see them, but also got to train a little bit while I was out there. I worked hard with some of the girls there, including Alicia. And now I'm back at my gym, the House of Muay Thai / Norfolk BJJ. They're both here working hard these last couple weeks of fight camp, and I'll be working hard until we leave Tuesday morning.
Nice. And that's really cool about the documentary. We'll definitely have to check that out. I know I saw you pictured with many different legends that have been in MMA. So that was really cool.
It was a very fun time to go up there and meet all the people that I've watched fight in the past and kind of been my inspirations leading up to the sport.
And now the last fight, you didn't have your father in your corner in Abu Dhabi. Talk about having him back in your corner this time, what it means for you. Obviously, he was there back in February, although you didn't fight. Just having him there, what's going to be the difference?
Well, he was supposed to be there last June when I was supposed to make my debut, so he didn't even make it to Vegas that time. This last time he made it to Vegas, but not all the way in the ring, and I'm hoping this time he gets to be all the way there.
Sure.
So it's definitely exciting having him there. I like I feel like mental advantage he gives me almost. I have this support system in my corner that never falters. He's my rock, and he's always basically been my mental coach, but also just life coach in general. And to have him there, the person who I see loves and supports me more than anyone else on this earth, is important to me. And it's really exciting to bring him on a journey that he helped begin for me.
Yeah, definitely. I could see him wanting to frame the fight kit. because it has their name on it and stuff, right?
Yes, exactly. He was talking about how every single time I have him even come there, he's like, this shirt means so much to me. This means so much to me. Like this whole journey, and first time that he's gotten to travel, he's meeting these people who he's watched on TV too. And now I am that person. And neither one of us expected that, 5 years ago. And here I am making a dream a reality.
And who's helped you prepare for this fight, and why do you feel they're going to help you succeed?
I mean, all my coaches, of course, Jake Chamberlain, Mac and Simmerser, and then coaches at other gyms too have really pitched in and helped. My dad is always, my entire family, my mom, my brother, my sister, everybody. And then my boyfriend has helped with meal prep, helped with everything leading up to this fight as far as keeping me unstressed as much as possible. I won't say that school's helped me any. It's just kind of been another weight on my shoulders, but that's part of the game. At the end of the day, it gives me more motivation to go out there and get my job done. But also shout out to all my teammates and my sponsors, of course, too, that provide me with a lot of food that I need to get through this fight camp, and like recovery tools and things of that sort.
And they'll talk about signing with Lamont Chappell from LCA Sports Management, what it means for your career. He's a good friend of ours on the show. So talk about that.
Well, I'm actually really excited. This is kind of the beginning of it. I haven't gotten to work with him for too long, but I've known him for a while. I met him when I went down to North Carolina to train with Hannah Cyphers there pretty consistently. So I met Lamont several times, and the whole time he was kind of telling me how great they were and everything. And I guess I finally came to his side of thinking, and I'm giving him a shot. And so far they've been amazing. I like having that personal connection before I make business dealings with someone. So I've appreciated that. And he seems like a very stand-up guy and has a passion for MMA, not just trying to make money off of it.
What are you using for recovery after each training session? Anything you recommend?
So I actually am going to plug a sponsor here because it's true. Sure. The Absolute Nature CBD is one of the most popular things that I use after training and before training, actually, especially when I have like injuries. I use their roll-on stuff. And when I don't have injuries, I still take their gummies and stuff before and after training. Usually I feel like it just kind of gets my whole system balanced, I guess, kind of like taking a multivitamin is how it feels. Just feel like it has improved slightly and kept me relaxed at the same time. So that's been beneficial. And then I use massage guns constantly. Like that's just a constant thing I use. I'd say at least 20 minutes every day or so, or try to get that, when I don't have other things going on, even if it's while I'm doing homework.
And in Jacksonville, Florida, UFC 261, the following pay-per-view, it welcomes fans back. Your event will be without fans, but what do you think of that? Are you excited to perform in a larger crowd? I know you've performed in front of the small crowds of Invicta FC and the other regional events.
Yeah, I'm really excited actually to finally be in front of a crowd. I don't think it'll affect my fighting or my performance any, but it will affect just the, I guess the persona of the UFC. You always expect that, like getting into this big promotion, and it's kind of lacking now. It's like, well, I'm in the UFC, but it's not like what I expected, and
Sure.
And I think it will be.
Yeah, I think oftentimes you have to go back and watch fights from a couple years ago, or even play the video game and be able to recreate that experience.
Right. Yeah, but like I said, it doesn't affect me, I don't think. If anything, not having a crowd gives me that much more focus towards the fight.
Definitely. And I want to ask you about UFC 260. We have the main event, Stipe Miocic, Francis Ngannou. Are you excited for this one?
I am excited. I think Ngannou is gonna get it done, but we'll find out. Stipe, I think, has better technique, to be honest, but Ngannou is just so powerful. We'll see what happens, though. The whole card is pretty much stacked, but I'm hoping I can go in there and make a show myself and possibly get a bonus. That's what all of us go out there to try to do.
Definitely. And so would you say Ngannou by knockout? Is that safe to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Second round, maybe. First round.
Okay. Valentina Shevchenko takes on Jessica Andrade. Obviously, she's the champion in your division. UFC 261 the following month. Any thoughts on that fight?
Definitely think Valentina will win. I don't think Andraj will have anything for her technique. She'll just go in there swinging at her like she does most people. She has a decent ground game, but she's really bad at getting people to the ground unless they end up there. So I think Valentina will win that fight pretty easily.
And what can we expect then next Saturday at UFC 260? I know you've been putting in a hard training camp, ready for this one, and you're excited to go, obviously, after the first delay.
Well, I won't say exactly what everybody needs to expect, but I plan on dominating in every position, whether it's standing, on the ground, wrestling, whatever it is. I think it's funny, fans and stuff like that, even her fans are like, oh, Miranda's ground game is trash. Like, just take her to the ground, you'll beat her. And I'm like, people must not have watched any fight except for my UFC debut. I don't know, but that was like the first time I've actually used my striking. I feel like I'm a very dominant player on the ground. And it's also funny listening to people talk about my takedown defense from like 3 years ago and talk about how that was bad against Deanna Bennett the first time I fought her. And I was like, well, that's been several years. And I've also beat Deanna since then. And I'm actually really excited, even if it goes to the ground. I'm so ready for that. I'm ready to beat her in her own arena and mine.
Yeah, definitely. You plan on giving the talking heads something new to talk about, right?
That's right.
Well, I appreciate you being on the Fight Report. Everybody check it out. Next Saturday, March 27th, UFC 260. And on the prelim, we've got Miranda Maverick taking on Gillian Savage Robertson. So make sure to check that out on pay-per-view. And we appreciate you being on the Fight Report today.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.